All right, YouTube. Camera's bouncing. Okay, now with everything going on, I found an article that said that one state and one state only processed something like 8 million background checks for firearms last month. Last month alone in one state. I'm not so foolish. I inhaled a fly. I'm not so foolish as to believe that it's just seasoned firearm veterans that are, seasoned firearm owners that are buying more guns. There's a lot of first-time gun owners who, because of the current affairs, are just now buying their first gun. So I figured maybe we should touch on gun safety, because firearms are dangerous. They really are. I mean, there's a reason why they kill people. It's because they're fucking dangerous. And just as often it happens because somebody just doesn't know what they're doing as it does because somebody is actually intentionally trying to kill somebody. I actually had a buddy of mine, shout out to Big D, rest in peace, Bubba, who a few years ago was looking at a friend's firearm that I guess was malfunctioning, and he shot himself in the face, and he's gone. And this is somebody that knows guns. Like, he's no slouch. So just a personal experience from me about that. So we all make mistakes. I've made mistakes with a gun. I've accidentally fired a gun before. I mean, it was really embarrassing. Luckily I was alone and there was nobody else around, but anyway. So first and foremost, a gun is always loaded. It is always loaded. Okay? My EDC, loaded, right? Right? Now it's unloaded, right? Wrong. There was a round in the chamber. Okay? Rule number 1, a gun is always loaded until you personally unload it. Whether it's a friend handing you a gun, whether it's a salesman handing you a gun is always loaded. Okay? Now say I went to go hand you this gun. Drop the mag out. Cool. I put the mag away. Right? You need to clear that chamber. Make sure that chamber is clear. And you can see. And you can see down the mag well. Make sure there's no magazine in there. And I don't care if the guy clears it in front of you. As soon as he or she hands that firearm to you, first thing you do, point it at the ground, like so. Make sure it's unloaded. First and foremost, a gun is always loaded. A gun is never unloaded until you personally clear it. The other thing, never point your firearm at something you do not intend to kill or destroy, because it will do both. Because remember, a firearm is always loaded. Out here in the woods, there's a few safe directions where I can comfortably point my gun. I do have a range in my backyard. That being said, if you're in your house, if you're in your car, don't sit there like an idiot with your gun on your lap pointing at your junk. I mean, personally, I like my junk. I like where it's at, I'm not trying to shoot it off because I had a misfire because the striker in my gun just decided to let go. So always keep your gun pointed towards the floor. Always keep it pointed towards the ground. Always keep it in a safe direction. And really just don't let kids get a hold of guns. Keep them out of reach. Buy a safe if you have to. Put said safe on an elevated surface. Put it up on a shelf. You know? Get it up on a shelf somewhere. Get it out of the kid's reach. I have a toddler. I personally have a toddler, you know? So the last thing that I want him to get his hands on, I mean, it's annoying when he gets his hands on my tools because I find them all over the yard. But that's one thing. You know, it's okay for him to run off with my 10mm wrench, which I fucking lose often enough as it is. And it's okay for him to run off with you know, a ratchet or, you know, a pair of pliers or something. That's fine. I'll go find him later. He runs off with my Allen wrenches. Fine. I'll go find him later. I gotta walk the dog all over the yard anyway. But the last thing you want to do is let kids get a hold of guns. I mean, look at Lil Wayne. He was 12 years old. He shot himself in the chest. Dude's famous now, and he loves telling the story. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. Another thing is, be conscious of your surroundings. Always be aware of what's going on around you. Okay? Be aware of what's walking into your line of sight. What's walking into your shooting path. Okay? Another thing, be aware of what's behind your target. Because sometimes you miss your target entirely. Your hand twitches, you get a fly in your face, whatever. Sometimes you twitch the wrong way and you miss the target entirely, so your bullet goes stray. And in the inner city, that's how a lot of kids die. Stray bullets. I'm pretty sure nobody's shooting at kids, but when you do a drive-by, it's kind of hard to tell what you're actually hitting behind that wall. So make sure you are always aware of what is behind your target. Make sure you're aware of what is beyond your target, and which falls back on the rule of don't point your gun at anything you are not willing to kill or destroy. We call that collateral damage. Another thing is, if you pull your weapon, if you are in a situation where you have to pull your weapon, you have to shoot someone, do it. Don't overthink it. Do it. If you are in fear of your life, not just your physical safety, if you are in fear of your life, do it. Even if you miss every single shot, because that means that they're going to have to beat you to death with your own gun. The last thing you want to do is give a violent assailant a deadly weapon if he or she does not already have one. If he or she does have one, well then you're in a fight for your life, point blank period. And I know for a fact if somebody comes after me, I'm going to choose me every time. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I have bills to pay, and there's no way in hell I'm letting anyone get in the way of that. But look, those are some basic rules that I kind of figure everyone needs to know. And I just hope that maybe later on down the road, when everything starts to open back up, all these new gun owners that are out there, you know, first-time gun buyers, hopefully you guys will do yourselves a favor and actually go and get some training. Go to a range, get an instructor, get a range master over, you know, go to a tactical training situation and actually run through a house training, a house scenario in which, you know, you're laying in bed, or they have you acting like you're laying in bed, and they send people in and you have to try to shoot your way out of said situation. Look into de-escalation techniques for yourself, because when you're carrying, when you have a firearm, your first and foremost step should always be de-escalation. You want to try to avoid that fight as much as you possibly can, because if you get into a fisticuffs with somebody, your weapon might come dislodged, they might pick it up, and they might shoot you with it. or you might go for it yourself. So always, always, always try to talk yourself out of said situation. Always try to avoid possible confrontation. It is not fun. And just understand that should a time arise when you do have to use your weapon, you do have to actually shoot somebody, it's not going to be an easy thing to do, and it is not going to be an easy thing to get around. You are going to have to deal with the cops. You might go to jail. Your weapon will be confiscated. Then there will be an investigation. That being said, you know, now that you've heard me babble on for 11 minutes, I hope this information can help somebody. Please like, share, subscribe. You know, last thing I want to see is more needless death. And the only thing I ask is just respect your firearm. Respect it for what it is. I mean, remember, dogs, especially large dogs, they're dangerous. But when you treat them the right way, they're not dangerous to you, right? Like, my dog is not dangerous to me because I treat him the right way. So treat your gun with the same respect you treat a family member, with the same respect you treat a dog, really. I mean, just treat it with the respect it's due. Because at the end of the day, that weapon can really, really hurt somebody. Maybe you. Alright, guys. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, all that happy crap. Yada, yada, yada. Do yourselves a favor. If you are a first-time gun owner, I'm going to repeat this one more time. If you're a first-time gun owner, go get some training. Get in contact with maybe a local cop down the street. He or she might know where to go to get training. Just Google it. There's places all over the place that are willing to train you in tactical situations. Go with a friend. Go with a friend. Try to get a Groupon. Seriously, they have that kind of shit on Groupon. You think I'm kidding, but they actually have it. All right, guys. Be safe out there, and happy shooting.